Techy, everybody. Thanks for joining. February 16th, I think. Yeah, the 16th. It's snowing here in Denver, and I am warm and cozy talking in front of you. Well, listen, today I really have been looking forward to this for the last couple weeks because I think AI and where it fits into the ability to lead and to manage, it's a critical issue that I think everyone needs to be looking at. I'm going to tell you some stories, tell you some ideas, even read you a little bit of information that I've gathered on the topic. You know, there are different types of leaders, and there are leaders that connect with their group and they are concerned about the subtleties and the nuances and the value pieces that go into managing within their various work groups and people. And then there are other leaders that manage to the P&L, and most things are driven by those numbers. So obviously, it's sort of a leading comment when I'm saying that. It seems logical to think that the people driven by P&L, which are data-driven people, are really people that are going to benefit the most from AI. I have a concern about that. And that is that if you have someone in a leadership position that has always struggled with the facing side of leadership, and they become more and more and more dependent upon their AI tools, or any tools for that matter, then what's going to happen? Are they going to continue to move back? When the question, it really bodes the question, when will AI replace leadership? And where will there be no position for that leader? Because in my opinion, that type of a person and that thinking can lead to that, to where now they see their company simply as a matter of things that move, sort of like Henry Ford 100 and more years ago when he built the assembly line, and it was a matter of pieces and parts and the movement and the automation that occurred. And there is no question that that automation was game-changing, culture-changing, socially changing, business changing, and really necessary for all of the things we've accomplished over the last 100 years. Now, that being said, we didn't lose leaders within that context, did we? To some degree, we lost certain leaders, but in my opinion, those are the leaders that really were really just filling a position. They were just, it was an investment for them per se. But, you know, more and more entrepreneurs are building businesses based upon the concept of using the tools around them. Data is a critical piece of that. And as many people have come out of school, have spent their time online and looked at a lot of information, they realize that data is key to helping you make a decision. But what did I just say? I said data is key to what? Helping you make a decision. Data is, if used as the only tool to make a decision, that to me becomes the problem. And that's where you will run into failure. I'm going to tell you some personal experiences using some AI tools and where I see that they have benefited and where I see that they've caused their own troubles. You know, Chat GPT allows you to be able to create articles, and it writes for you. Now, Chat GPT is based upon the concept of word building. So it's taking from one word to the next to the next. So it's not necessarily dealing conceptually. It's dealing more linearly. Linearly. That being said, you have to be very careful when you're building articles. And also you have to remember that when you're building articles, there are tools out there within the areas that we want to distribute that recognize when something has been written through an AI tool. And they can oftentimes be moved to the side, not necessarily blacklisted, but less distributed. So now you have this situation that you're writing an article. Maybe that article has been written before somewhere else throughout the world on Chat GPT that chat is pulling from. So you may be simply plagiarizing what someone else has already developed. You have a risk out there that in spite of the benefits of the information, you still may be less in distribution. And then it's built linearly. I can't say that word, can I? It's a linear way of building an article. When we build an article, when I write an article, my mind is constantly, my computer is constantly looking at the whole, right? I'm writing, I understand the intention of my writing, I understand all of the experiences that I'm gathering, the nuances and the subtleties that I've lived through and that I anticipate, and I'm building that all into my word building. So potentially, that to me sounds like a much more full article. Now, when an article is based on data, I think ChatGPT, as an example of an AI tool, is a catalyst because it allows you to have that clarity of an aggregation of data resources from all over the world pulled into what you're asking it. But asking an AI tool is often the key. So I've been asked by boards and by people that are looking to save money to say, look, instead of people writing articles, let's use Chat GPT. What does that mean? They're really asking a different question, right? They're saying, how can I reduce my payroll by using an AI tool? That's what they're saying. It's either reduce my payroll or increase my productivity with that person in other areas. But I will tell you, in an entrepreneurial environment, it's mostly how can I reduce my cost? It's not always that, but it's oftentimes that. What I've learned is that asking the right questions of an AI tool becomes its own new vocation. And it becomes an art, just like any vocation does. You can have two carpenters, and one is perfect and amazing, and another just knows how to pound nails. And it's the same thing with ChatGPT, which is if you become the artist of how to ask the right questions, you will get the benefit of that information. And then the redoing and the redoing and the redoing becomes another part of the art of it. So within that context, I just said, you, in a sense, you're not replacing a person. You're changing the person's skill sets to be able to do that to its own benefit, and probably at a similar, maybe a little bit faster rate, maybe more dependable. But also remember that whenever you're using a tool that other people within your industry are using, and you're asking it to produce something that you are then putting out into the public domain, other people are doing exactly the same thing. So oftentimes that material that is out there is fairly banal. It's really not deep. It's not intense. It's not new. And it's certainly not nuanced. What it is is it's dependable. And if you're looking for dependable, that's to me where AI tools come in. There are a number of ways that AI is being used. Process to me is a clear intent of using AI in robotic RPA, that robotic process that allows you to be able to build repeatable activities that just need to be data pulled, data totaled, outcomes understood. That's a key piece of where AI can really benefit you. And then through developing sound process through automation, that's an area that you can have great benefit for. And frankly, it is an area where you can reduce cost from an overhead perspective. But in my world, it's always, if I'm reducing cost here, it's not losing that cost. It's where better can I move that cost to expand what I'm about. And that's something you have to get clear on when you're making decisions in leadership, which is what do I believe in? What is my intention? And you have to be honest about it. Am I saving money? Am I increasing productivity? I mean, I'm sure there are many other ways to determine that. You know, I wrote down something that I thought was really interesting. Currently, 1/3 of professionals, a third of professionals are already embedding AI mechanisms in their routine. A third. More than a quarter are turning to platforms similar to ChatGPT and other platforms. You know, so you name an area, there is going to be some value AI tool being written for it. Picking up on the nuances of speech, picking up on the nuances of my movement, my activity, my eyes blinking, my facial expressions, all of that now is built into tools. And those tools can help anybody within a meeting, within dialogue, within a presentation, within in a contact center, the back and forth that happens in a conversation. It can give the leader of that call cues in terms of where and what direction should that conversation go. So those are great benefits. But my sense is that if you become singularly dependent on that tool, then although you may have dependable results, your results may not be optimal. And I think the real value of a leader is not how to run an organization. Your people manage an organization that you've hired. A leader's role is really to understand how to take the leaps, to understand how to build the strategy of all of the resources that you have, whether they be AI tools, whether they be data-driven, whatever it may be, people, your product, your market, and it's your job to find a way to integrate all of these resources into a form that it becomes a power for you. And the forming of that power, AI or otherwise, is really your decision that has to be made based upon how you see it, and then where you can use that to go. So let's not look at leadership as just, I'm now bringing in more AI so I can reduce my payroll. I mean, if that's what you're doing, just go hire a manager and you go live in the islands and let that manager run your business and have somewhat of a dependable income that comes from it. But if you're looking to build excellence within your organization, here's what I will tell you. Take your AI tools, become proficient in them, learn more. A third already are doing it, so learn what's out there, and it goes very fast, and there's more and more and more. But don't believe that any particular tool, AI or person, is magic in themselves. The magic comes from you and the decisions you make and the way you see the landscape. And look at all of the resources you have combined, continue to layer in additions to those resources. And as I said, AI being fast developing into areas unknown even today, can be those tools. And combine those tools with your people, with your insights, with your people's insights, with the most important piece, which is the energy and passion that tools do not give you and only people can. And combine them into, how do I use this thing? How do I use this, call it an engine, to take off and fly as far away as you can into the great unknown, so that you can then find your own miracles. So with that, I'm going to leave you today. Don't be scared of AI. Don't be scared of learning. Those are things you have to do as a leader. Don't singularly think about it, though, and don't just say, I'm going to save money, or I'm only going to depend upon the data aggregation to tell me the next thing, but use it all in combination and go, go, go. I look forward to talking to you in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening. You take care. Bye-bye.